Hello, everyone. Welcome to VMN Business Talk. Today, we are diving into a topic that I'm so sure every business owner can relate to, and that is eliminating receivables. If you'd like to catch up on past episodes covering business, marketing, and leadership, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and YouTube. We truly appreciate your follows, comments, and likes. They help us bring even more valuable conversations your way. My name is Diana Spinka. I'm the producer of this show. And as always, I'm here with our host, networking and marketing expert, Victor Nichols. Hello, Victor. We're excited to welcome today's guest, Hugo Sanchez, founder of MOTI App, seasoned entrepreneur and genius level salesman. Hugo, thank you so much for being here with us. Let's start at the beginning. Tell us a bit about your business journey. Where did it all start?
With Modi or my career before Modi?
Your career before Modi, like your business journey.
So, let's see. I was a developer.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
was doing restoration jobs because that's where the money's at, restoring things from the past. So I did that for a while and made a lot of money. That journey, because I had to wear a lot of suits, required me to go to a lot of dry cleaning. And as I was
Mm-hmm.
going to dry cleaning, I got really interested in it. So I started asking questions. And then
I love
you
it.
know, there's only so much you can restorate. So I was like, there's a huge margins in dry cleaning. So I took a deep dive and realized that owning a dry cleaning is not profitable, but owning the factory that actually cleans it at a bigger scale is extremely profitable. So, and
Mm-hmm.
when you say factory, I think people get really scared. Like, well, did he have 20,000 square feet of equipment and this equipment was the size of 18 wheelers? No. I mean, obviously, some of the equipment was the size of a small van, but
Mhm.
it's really 5,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. Doesn't take a lot because this equipment's really, it's average size, but it's made to produce clean by the pound. And can you imagine what 100 pound of clothes is? Not really a lot if you think about it. It's just 100 pounds of clothes, but it's a lot of pieces. And then you average what those pieces are going to go out the door for, $13 to $14. And even at wholesale, pieces will go out
Mm-hmm.
$2 to $3 out the door. The margins move up super fast. And the idea with owning a factory where you don't want to be just a mom and pop and just serve the community is that you're able to do other cleaners. And then that allows you to open other cleaners but mom and pop. And you're opening 500 square feet. Everything looks like a cleaner's in there, even the rack that spins around. But the reality is, what you're doing in this is tagging and bagging. People bring in their clothes, you put the tags in, and you throw into a big laundry bag. And then the van would come up twice a day to pick up what people walked in all day. So then that cuts the cost of rent, right? Because you're renting 500 square feet with a small bathroom, a counter, and two people a day to work the schedule. So those margins go down super fast. Now you're looking at a spot that could cost you 20 to 25,000 a month to 8,000.
Mhm.
So, but that place is producing 50 now because you're right in a doorman building. You're right in a community that the closest cleaners is about 3.5 miles away. And you're able to do it because a lot of those buildings don't allow the equipment.
In the
So by
actual, yeah.
in the building, right? Because they're very toxic. Dry cleaning, I mean, it's changed a lot. It's been 8 years for me since out of the business, so maybe 9, but it changes a lot, the equipment. And but it's very toxic. It's the venting for it. It's best the first floor building because you
Mhm.
have to vent all the heat out.
Mhm.
Those
Right.
places could go up to 120 degrees easy in
Right.
heat, and you can't put air conditioning. It doesn't work with air conditioning.
Wow.
It creates sweat on the walls and the walls are leaking.
Oh,
So
wow.
everything's actually vents to vent as heat
The vent-
rises, just push it.
See, this is
Right. So
thing I
you
didn't know. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
so
Yeah.
you may look at a roof of a dry cleaner back then. I mean, I'm quite sure they've gotten better technology, but you would have 20 vents on the ceilings.
Mhm.
And it's just pushing out all the heat, pushing out all the heat to make it bearable to work in there. So it's a really tough job, but the margins are incredible because a presser will charge you anywhere from 30 cents a piece to 40 cents a piece. And what you say, what does that mean? So it may cost me 50 cents for him to press a pair of pants to the hanger.
Mhm.
I remember machine did it by 200 or 300 pounds at a time. So it's not one by one.
Mhm.
Right.
Then he's actually ironing it for 50 cents to the hanger. The hanger is about 5 cents. Might
Mhm.
have gone up with this inflation, but figure the hanger 5 to 10 cents. You're 60 cents to the hanger. Now that pair of pants, what have you paid for a pair of pants? 4.99, 5.99 pair of
You ain't
pants.
kidding, brother.
So
I'm,
so then look at those
I'm starting to
margins.
iron again, man. Got
Right.
my
So
ironing
you
board out.
look at those margins, and
Yep.
even wholesale, if you give it to the wholesale guy 1.99, you're still up $1.50 per pants
Right.
after the presser. So it's a good business. It's just a very hard business. And so the best way to do it is try to put every company to have a different color in their tagging. You want to be able to separate clothes by eye color and then get to the numbers when it comes to putting it to the
So
receipt
it really
to the
sounds
owner.
like, aside from the cleaning part of it, though, it also sounds like it's a very intense logistic business, right?
Logistically, once
Because
you
you got
get it, it's easy. But at the beginning, it will frighten you. You will be like, there's so many clothes. How do we know what belongs to what cleaners?
yeah.
The idea is change their color receipts, the way they tag their clothes, make sure that every cleaner has a different color, blue, pink, red, orange. That helps you separate the cleaners.
Got it.
Then you pack all those red tags on one basket and one presser does all their clothes.
Got
So
it.
that way, if you throw too many colors on one presser, you have a sporadic amount of receipts done and nothing done. So you got 11 cleaners on hangers, but none of them are actually finished.
Right. Right.
So you separate all the reds in one color and you give it to one presser,
See,
and the
this
blue to
is
another presser.
fascinating to me because these are things that people don't think about as far as when they start to get involved in businesses or run businesses. And you and I, and we all know the devil is in the details, right?
It is. I mean, when you go take your clothes dry cleaning, please be nice to them. They work very hard. It's one of the hardest jobs. Dry cleaners is one of the hard. It's not like wash and fold. We do wash and fold too.
Yeah.
Wash and fold is very easy because I put all your socks in that bag, all your t-shirts in that bag, and then your clothes. So make sure I don't lose your socks. And
Right.
the net bag is processed so you don't lose socks and small little items like that. Keep it together. So when you go wash and fold, you're folding all the big pieces. Then you open the net bags and start folding socks and underwears and stuff like that. So you don't be like, hey, I'm missing a sock, because I'm quite sure if you washed and fold before, you're always missing a sock.
Wait
The
a minute. And that's in your own house, in your own machine. Okay.
So the secret is a net bag. Separate all the clothes, put all the big pieces in the washer, then put the rest in a net bag. So nothing stays stuck to the machine when it goes into a high spin cycle. So nothing sticks to the dry when it goes into drying. So you're pulling everything out with the tag correctly. So
So now tell
there's a
us,
formula. There's a formula to all this stuff.
Hugo, with all of that background, what got you into what you're doing now? And tell us about that.
So, the app was an idea that I had, and you can't take credit for an idea. I spoke to my friend Jeff. I spoke to Kevin. Me and him were very close, and his partner was Jeff. And they had their own business for 14, 15 years, doing great projects for like Google, Meta. Like these guys did some projects. I'm talking super talented guys. And I spoke to Kevin, and he had told me, if you can convince Jeff, because Jeff is the coder, if you can convince him about this, then we got something going. So I invited Jeff to my house with Kevin, and I told him the idea. And immediately he had 20 ideas. If we do it, it needs to do this. It needs to be able to do this. And I was like, he's in. He's
Hmm.
in. J- it's one thing to spark a fire, but to keep it burning, it's a
Right.
team. To have, just because I light it, you still have to get more wood to keep it burning, right?
Gotta stoke it. Yeah.
And that's what Jeff and Kevin do. Like once I started an idea, they just ran with it, like really cool shit, like really cool stuff. Like, yo, I'm doing this because you say, and a lot of people don't understand tech, right? I think my company's successful because my CTO and CCO been partners for 13 years, so they're like one hand. So you could go to a company and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do it in another country. It's cheaper." It won't be cheaper. It will not be. The delays, the cost, our technology is built here. We own the coding, it's ours. They can't sell it in another country. When we do business, we only work with people that are part of the United States. So if there's some problems, we can take the proper legal action to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
When you
That's
do this in another country, and I'm not saying they won't do a great job, you have no legal leverage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea behind MOTI is simple, right? No more chasing payments. People, experts, professionals, they get instant payments. But what made you realize that this is the actual problem that is worth saving?
So here's where you really notice the problem at, right? You look at a platform like Instagram, right? And I'm gonna show you a bigger problem. That Instagram is just the easy one, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are live streaming, they're creating content, they're trying to hit 1 million views. What are they trying to trigger? Some type of business. You're not creating content that's not sustainable for fun, because then you're gonna have to go get a job.
Right,
You're hoping that your contents go viral, 1,000 people hit you, even brands, and say, "Hey, I want to do something with you. What's that look like?"
right.
And then you lose all the people in the middle, like the super fans.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose a bulk of things because you can't connect with them directly, and you don't want to answer 1,000 DMs, and you don't want to do it for free. More than anything, you don't want to be on the phone for free. That's not a sustainable model neither. But
Right.
I'll show you a bigger model, which is interesting. You looked at LinkedIn. They sold in June of 2016 for $26.2 billion. They have over 1 billion users, and 135 million people use LinkedIn daily. What can you possibly use LinkedIn for 135 million people daily for? You can update your resume, right? But you can't do no financial transactions. But what are you using then? Are you using the messaging to reach out to somebody to say, let's get on a call on Calendly, let's set something up through Zoom? And then where are you going to get take the payment from? Because obviously this is business. So we're moving along 135 million people a day, but there's no physical transaction there. A physical, they have a, you have a profile, an enhanced profile. You have messaging, but you have no real way of getting paid. You don't have direct recording to your device like my app does.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah, it's so frustrating because you get a person. Well, first of all, you have to work really hard to get person on a call, right? Then you get person on a call, and you're like, you finish the call, and you're like, okay, I'll send you the bill, right? I'll send you the link, and then you just sit and hope that they will pay, and sometimes they don't, or
And
like,
sometimes you have to chase it down, which is worse. And then you feel uncomfortable. You feel
Yeah.
very
right,
uncomfortable telling the person, hey, it's been 2 or 3 days, I haven't received the payment. They tell you, yeah, I'll get it out today. It makes it
yeah,
uncomfortable for both parties. And that's what Modi does great, right? If I actually want to book you, I have to pay you first.
Right.
It's
Right.
simple.
Yeah.
That
mhm,
everything's out, all the uncomfortables out of the way right on the spot. If you're priced a little high, I can hit you on Modi's messaging and say, hey, if I pay you in advance, can we negotiate a better deal? Where you could be like, okay, I'm sending a request on the messaging. Instead of 300, we'll do 250. What we agreed on, please send it now.
Yeah.
mhm,
Right.
And
Right.
right,
so then this is what gets cooler. That call happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes really well. It's about to end. You're at your 59th minute. Modi also allows the merchant and the consumer to do an extended call with an additional payment. So if the call's going to end and it's going really well, and the client says, "Hey, can we go on for another 15 minutes?" The app allows them to pay for an extra 15 minutes.
In that 15-minute increment, right?
Yes. So
Oh,
you're not. So you could go 15 and then
right.
another
Exactly.
15
You're
and
not
then another 15,
now. It's going to
and
be,
you're
yeah.
right, and you're always getting paid.
Right.
So then it gets even better, right? That's just another caveat. We're in this call right now, and she's offered me some services that I actually want to take on.
Mm-hmm.
So you could type on the screen and get a deposit for those services. So let's say those additional service of $500 and she requires a $250 deposit now to get started. She could type on the screen and he could pay those right on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
The app also records. So our record feature is dual consent, which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Once that barrier is passed to record, it's not recording to a cloud. It's actually recording to your device. So you have that content immediately. So if anything you think you missed in the meeting, you have it directly on your phone. And we
me
don't
and the
watermark our
person
video.
me and the
Yes.
person who had the call with, right? So we
Yes.
both have.
the
Okay.
recording with dual consent on each side. You may
Right.
not allow him to record, or he may allow you to record,
Those
but you
record-
guys have a choice.
Mhm. That's
Right.
cool. That's really cool.
And so it's basically, I believe, what do you think this app, who is this most useful for? What type of professions?
I mean, basically everybody on LinkedIn. So it's perfect for them. Probably 60 to 70% on Instagram. But if you want to go like particular careers, if you were a lawyer, this be perfect. If you was a dermatologist that does most of the stuff on video because clients don't like to come in, this is perfect. If you're
Right.
an influencer and a creator trying to negotiate deals and create content, this is perfect for. If you're a business coach, a mentor, a
Mm.
nutritionist, a personal trainer, this is perfect for.
Well,
Exactly.
yes, I would
And
think
it actually,
accountants, like most professionals, right? Accounting firms, all of that, law firms, like you were saying, would
What,
they all have billable hours,
what
right?
about tutors? What
Yeah.
about tutors? One of the biggest industry we got. If you
Yeah.
look at Wizen, the app Wizen, right? That's a tutoring app. 65,000 teachers and I think 3 million students. Now, they don't have a direct video. They have an app. It's messaging, payment, and calendar.
Mhm.
But then they send you a link to another video stream thing. And so you can record it directly to your device. With Wizen, they don't get paid. The merchants don't get paid direct.
Right.
So,
They have to.
they charge about 25%. Where we charge 15% and no subscription base. Where we don't block your messaging with AI and she can send her personal number if she decides she's not happy with Modi. We're not here to hold your customer hostage or hold you hostage to the app. We
Right.
want to provide such an experience that you don't want to give your personal number on Modi. That
Right.
you say, no,
You
this
want to
makes
stay on
sense
those,
to me.
and that
So
that
for
brings up
us, it's
another,
experience. We
that
want
brings
to
up
give a
another
better
question,
experience.
Hugo, is we're talking about all of the interactions now paid on Modi, but you can
Correct.
also use Modi for conversations.
Yeah, we have a free feature that we allow the experts to use.
Mhm.
And we right now use it just only on high-end experts
Mm-hmm.
to make sure they have a communication, but we'll offer it down the road to everyone
Right.
as we grow as a brand.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we offer it to our ambassadors, our high-end experts that want to that want to create pre-existing customers over and say, hey, I know we've been using this and I know we've been using that, but I want to give you a free call on Modi. I want you to experience why we want to work from here better. It's easier for you to pay me. We're not using 3 to 4 apps. And I think the experience is going to be better for both of us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
right. We got a question. Will MOTI ever have a live stream feature?
100%. It's on the deck. If you look on our deck, our live feature, and this is the great thing about our live streaming feature, it's going to be a buy a ticket feature. So
Okay,
people will be
so
able to buy a ticket on the live stream. And if you're a coach or a business consultant, you could do a live stream and get paid for the stream that you're doing, and people could buy a ticket to be part of it.
So
oh,
like
that's amazing.
like an event. Yeah.
Right. You'll be able to hold an event, a concert, a business consulting concert, whatever it is, you'll be able to hold it on Modi Direct. But more than that, you'll be able to get paid. We'll have a feed.
I'm
So you'll be
loving.
able to put content on
Yeah.
the app and we'll create retention with that because you'll have more reasons to be on the app to look who's on the feed and who's promoting and
Mm-hmm.
who's promoting events and stuff like that.
Right.
Mhm. So I guess now is the time to see how it looks from the inside. Do you want me to present the platform, or do you want me to present the website?
Let's go on the website first so people can see what's coming. I want people to get excited
Mm-hmm.
about what
Okay.
Modi's coming. This is the reason we're fundraising $2 million right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to understand that what they see today in Modi, we've already planned for 10 years ahead.
Right.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
so this is our desktop version. It has screen sharing. It has pretty much everything that you need on the desktop version.
Mm-hmm. And
As you
I've
stroll up,
used the desktop.
it's
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
It is.
If you stroll up, stroll up to see other features, you will see. Doo-doo-doo. So this is our Explorer page where you'll be able to find anywhere from an M&A fighter to an actor to a judge to a comedian, David Metza, Natasha Grazio. you will find from a regular coach to a high-end coach, and on our Explorer page, you just have to pick the topic.
Hmm.
There's ICF coaches on there. If you can imagine, they're on there.
Hmm.
Influencers like Black Rose, real estate brokers like Omar. There's a mentalist there, Devante, comedians, people from shows, AI experts, DJs,
So you
even
can break it
comedians who
down
are.
by a genre, right? You break it down
Yes,
by a genre.
absolutely. Yes,
Look at
we have an Explorer page, and you could put it by any topic you're looking for. But if you
that.
scroll
Mm-hmm.
more down, we'll show you additional features. And this is where Modi's going to get excited at. We've built in messaging. So here we go. We have encrypted messaging. We have our calendar, and the phone will have a one-to-many. And so on the phone, it'll be a nice clean 8, but
Hmm.
on desktop and everything will be in the thousands. You know what I mean? It'll be just like Zoom. But on the phone, we want a nice clean 8. We
Hmm.
want good picture frames. We want you to be able to speak and see people. And as you go on your laptop or desktop version, it'll get more. If you
Right.
go more down,
But you'll have more. You'll have more surface area. You got more space.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Becoming a pro is easy. It's just a matter of you adding some type of debit card or some type of business account that you want
I'm
to
a pro.
catch,
I'm a pro. I'm a pro. I got on there,
to
brother.
catch money. If you keep going, it will have, and this is the best part. We're gonna have cool workshops, where you'll be able to work with, if it's 50 people, 100 people, the workshop is there. You'll see everybody, you'll be able to talk to everybody at the same. The frames are gonna look cleaner. You won't have to press 1,000 buttons. We want to make Modi easy,
Hmm.
you
So
know?
And it looks very easy and intuitive. It's when you go to, let's say, Android, and there are so many things in there, like you get frustrated. And when you go to Apple, it's very easy, right? AI's system is very clean and easy to use. Same with Modi. You get there and you're like, it's very
Yeah.
intuitive.
So, yeah, you could say Modi's like an Apple product. We want to make sure there's clean lines, there's not 200 buttons for you to press,
Right.
just tools that you actually need. Not, we don't want to build an app that has a bunch of tools you're actually never going to use.
right. Well, it's like
It doesn't make
all the
sense.
new
We don't want
cars.
to overbuild an app to the point you're like, okay, I really love the app, but they just went left with it. They started throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this thing.
Yeah.
If you keep going, if you keep going up, I think it'll show the live streaming. So there goes the live
Yeah.
streaming to the right. So there goes the live streaming, the 1-to-8, the 1-to-1. But that's the live streaming.
I
It'll
love.
Mhm.
feel, it'll feel, it'll feel, it may look a little bit like Instagram, but it will feel way different because you're getting paid. So, you'll
What
be able
are
to answer questions. So that would be a group. So just imagine if you have 200 people that bought a ticket for $20.
There you go.
Yeah. What are other features that you're very excited about?
To me, the one that excites me the most is live streaming,
Okay.
but also putting a crypto wallet. So we can
Mm,
so we could go to on a global scale. I think, we presently use Stripe, which is an American payment, and you have to have Social Security for the banking.
Yep.
So that always creates a challenge when you
Well, yeah,
have
I
people
set
all
that
over the
up.
world.
I set that up, Hugo, and of course, obviously, I live here, so it wasn't an issue, but it was a process, right? You had to go through the process. You're right. If you go crypto, you can, you'll be able to just jump
And
right.
people are going to need that,
Yeah.
especially with all these new laws with fiat. You have to be on point how difficult it's going to get paid these days. And you have so many nomads and people working overseas
Mm-hmm.
that need an app like this and say, hey, I do a lot of video calls. I manage a lot of accounts for influencers, and I still need to do my business calls with them and get paid. This is where
Mm-hmm.
Modi really takes the lead at, where
yeah.
if you're in the Philippines with 12 million people that use crypto, how many of those people are working stateside with people on this side of the world?
Right.
And I'm
You
very
know,
excited for the feature where you can work as an admin and like invite third party to the call, and have like you can manage somebody else's account as a manager or an admin. That would be cool. I think
and
you
those are exactly things that we're looking at. We're
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
thinking translation,
Mhm.
Just things, tools that really are going to really complement the app rather than you get on and be like, and this is the interesting part as a founder, as a co-founder, you build an app, right? You put the first 20 pieces in, but your community, the people that download the app, they put the rest in. They will tell you the needs of the app.
Right.
It's not designed that the founders have all the answers,
But
you
see, you
know.
have the right. That's exactly the right idea. That's exactly the right idea. I mean, I see sometimes, I look at some of these cars and some of these different things, and you're like, who the hell wants this? Right? They put all of this crap in there because they think people want it, but people don't want it, and they complain about it because it breaks. It's more stuff to have to do. Just like you're saying, if you listen to the people who are using it, you can build a better app. Simple.
Look, I was told when by the people that have in the app, over close to 14,000 people.
Mhm.
Should I do the one to many first or the live streaming? They say, no, do the live streaming. It acts like a one to many anyway.
Anyway,
So it goes to show you the way they're thinking is like, I don't need 1 to 8 right now. But if you give me the live streaming, I can make that more profitable for me through my social media.
Mhm. Sure.
So,
Okay.
and so, the crypto thing, that's one that everybody's told me, Joe, Hugo, put crypto because there's people I want to work with that don't have American banking but do have money, you know?
Yeah. How about
So,
people around the entire globe? Sure. I mean, now you've got.
so you listen to the demand of the user, you know?
Is that your secret to sales?
Yes. The user is going to guide you in the right direction. And look, if you got 9 people to tell you that it's a duck and one telling you that it's not, go with the 9 people. Your chances that it's a duck are going to be better. So the user will indicate what features they want first, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like the users told us right now, we have messaging one-to-one. They would like a more robust messaging to do group messaging. So
Right.
you go by what the user wants. They want to be able to send PDFs and documents to sign on the app.
Mhm.
These are things that the user asks for. It's things that we had on our roadmap, but if they were on line 20, they're now on line 5
Right. Right.
as I
Because
raise capital.
you want to make this the most
So we
useful
have great
way.
ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can hear
You know,
that.
the
Go
user
ahead.
is always going to have the
Mhm.
last say. If you think about it, right? We're founders like Jeff and Kevin. We have a list of 40 things we want to do that we think are amazing.
Mhm.
But we move those around because I'm the one outside asking people. I'm the one that gets people on the app. So when we have meetings, Jeff and Kevin would have asked me, what's the biggest complaint? What would people want today?
Mhm.
As a CTO, that's what makes him the best. He's willing to build. And now, not everything can be built first because things need to be done in a chronological order. When Jeff builds something, there's 10 other things that need to work for that to work.
Right.
So
It has to
yeah,
click.
he just doesn't build something and shove it in there. That's not the way it works. And I think the user thinks that sometimes it should be easy. No, it's not. When you
I
build this may not work. So
sure.
you have to be able to say, this can go first before that. That's okay. It won't affect the rest of the other 20 things.
Right.
But if it's gonna affect 20 things we need down the road, then it needs to stay 21. It just needs to stay 21 because 19 other products need to complement it
Mhm. Got it.
to make it work seamlessly. But there are things that you could bypass and do first, you know? And if you could do those first and you got a good top 5, then you're on a winning streak because they're probably big deliverables that they're asking for. Nobody's asking for emojis. You know what I mean? My users asking, hey, can we do a more robust messaging?
Yeah.
Can we do the live first because I could get more out of the live than I could get out of the one to many.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's how you build.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Hugo, is in your eyes the future of MOTI? Okay. Now look at MOTI and look at MOTI 5 years from now. What are you thinking, bro? Come on, baby. What are you thinking?
Man, I think Modi's gonna give a lot of companies a run for their money. I think they don't see it coming,
Mhm.
but we will not first to market, but we will be best to market.
Right. Right.
And that we never decided to be first to market, but
Mhm.
we've decided to be best to market. We're not building junk. We're building something that could go IPO. We're
Right.
building something that could be sold in the billions. that our investors and our users can be happy with. But I think what MOTI looks like in 5 years after I raise this 2 million and then go for a big raise for 20 or $30 million,
Mm-hmm.
it's a company that will be competitive with the big boys, whether that be Zoom, LinkedIn, Teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to look and say, we should have bought them. And we should have bought them early. We
We
should
should
have
have
got them early.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
just think, I want you to think about something, how these apps, right? Like TikTok and all these apps took off. A pandemic.
Yeah.
I said, so my app, if it goes viral, it's like a pandemic. Then you wonder why it started with 10,000 users and now it has 200 million. And you're like, how did that happen? The right conversation with the right person on the phone or the right investor or the right company behind us, and then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
what are some
Then people think it's
yeah.
been around. People start thinking, oh, they just came up. They're really great. No, we haven't. We've been around a while. Then we've worked really hard on making a good product.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some marketing strategies that you think has worked the best so far?
So we've never gone to market. So that's the exciting part. We're racing to go to market. So how I got these people on was direct
Personal
to them.
connections?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Okay.
direct to them. I reach out to 100 people a day on Instagram. And I hope that my return is 10%, but usually it's like 7%,
Well,
you know?
we connected in person. That's how this whole
Exactly. So the idea is in person through DMs and
right.
hold those conversations. But when we go to scale now, it's not so much to promote MOTI. We'll be promoting our users, our experts on the app. And that's going to create, like, why am I not there? I'm an
Right.
expert in my industry. So our
Mm-hmm.
goal is to promote our 10,000 experts on the app and say, hey, this guy's a lawyer. This guy's a patent expert. This guy is a founder to this company. If you need help with your brand, he's available. So our goal is to spend, about 25% of our raise now and the next 24 months marketing our experts, people that believed in the brand that say, hey, I'm going to download it. I'm going to do a professional profile. I'm going to put all the bells and whistles on my app. As soon as you go to market, I would love you guys to promote me so I could get new clients and
Mm-hmm.
bring my clients over so they can see that this is the place where we need it to be at,
Well, I'm
not
gonna get
what we're
right on
presently using.
that. I'm gonna get right
So,
on that for sure.
so it takes first an expert like Victor to get on and say, okay, I want to get my clients on. And then for you to see the vision and say,
Mm-hmm.
Victor, I see this. This makes sense for us because it's going to streamline a lot of our work. Now, when I find a client, I could schedule a call for you and him as an admin, and you just got to pick up. Everything else is done. Payment, messaging, calendar. I did everything on the back. All you
Right.
got to do is pick up the call that day.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
prorated.
that's very convenient when you have everything in one place. You can schedule, you can get paid, you can have a call. That's what we actually need because, as experts, like I am a little tired of switching to different apps. Even when we started, scheduled this call, how many apps or platforms did we actually use to get here, and stream this thing? We used iMessaging to text. We used Google Calendars to schedule. We use StreamYard to have to have the stream, and we use all of those social media platforms to stream it to. So it gets a little annoying.
And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to put all the tools you need in one toolbox, not in six.
Right.
So our goal is to basically build every tool that you need right here and not overbuilt. Not build tools
Yep.
that you say, I didn't need an emoji
Right.
behind me but here goes the interesting thing, right? And this is why Modi is also a really good spot to be. 30% of podcasts get done through Zoom. You could do
Mm-hmm.
them through Modi and record them directly and we don't watermark our videos, so you could put your company videos. Notary. Notary is now approved in every state to be done virtually.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so Notary
You're
is a
going to
good
my
spot
bank
for
to get things notarized for crying out loud.
in my vision, right? As I talk to my partners and say, at some point, if you look at Amazon, they offer Medical One, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like $10 a month for a virtual doctor, right? Imagine if the only thing that Modi has subscription based was telemedicine, that you can get coverage for $20 a month as an entrepreneur and speak to a doctor here, pick up your doctor in any language and be able to speak to him. And that would be subscription based for us, right?
Mhm.
What would those numbers look like in the future? And it doesn't change anything. It would be literally you pick a doctor. We would have a row of just doctors on the Explorer page. So it's easy for you to find Spanish, English, Russian, whatever language you want. Pick a
Mhm.
doctor, schedule a call, and it's part of your subscription-based model, which is just telemedicine. How incredible would that be that at MOTI, you'll be able to, at some point down the road, be able to speak to a telemedicine doctor, but we have a subscription-based model, so you're not paying a
Well,
bulk of it.
it evens the playing field, and now gives access to these kinds of consultations to people who don't have insurance, to people who are underserved, to all of those things where they can get quality information and quality health care that they can actually afford, as opposed to the insanity that's going on.
Imagine a partnership like that
Yeah.
with a telemedicine company that say, hey, we got the doctors, you
Mhm.
have the platform, let's do a subscription-based model.
Mhm.
It's a matter about opening a different Explorer page for telemedicine and people click into that. So there's no
Mhm.
confusion where you're seeing a lawyer with the doctors, all
Right.
doctors there,
It's separate. Yeah, it's separate.
just all doctors by language, by country, and it just makes easy things for you. These are the things that we can add to MOTI that'll make it more advanced than anything that's out there, more robust than the current platforms that are out there that's still telling you, yeah, but you got to use one more app to do this. No, that's not what we want. We want you to stay on MOTI.
Yeah, Hugo, when we met, we talked for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Okay. You were able to convey this to me to a point where I was excited, okay, to check it out, to download it, to participate, to set it up, because this made perfect sense to me. And you did it like that. It was not
Because this is what people want. They want it. When you download an app like mine and you see how easy it is,
Mhm.
profile, pictures, payment, that's it. That's
Boom.
what makes Apple so great. And people say, I'm tired of paying $1,300 for a phone or $1,600 for a phone. You buy it because it's simple. Apple just makes things dummy proof. They just do.
They really do.
And
They
I
really,
have nothing against an Android phone, but they just have too many buttons and it gives me anxiety. I
I
feel like
heard
I'm gonna
Yeah,
touch something
true.
that's wrong,
you do it. Yeah.
you
You're
know?
absolutely right. It makes it simple and it makes it intuitive. And look, we have enough to think about every minute of every day, especially people who are running businesses. Whether you're running a business or you're working for a business, anything, anything that can simplify that is gold, right? That's gold bullion. And MOTI's to me, it's at the pinnacle of that, because you simplify something that's so necessary.
And that's my CTO. My CTO, oh my God. I don't even want to say it this way, but he just doesn't like dumb shit. He just doesn't. His tolerance to building junk is never going to happen.
Yeah.
And the tool, right? My COO.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get somebody like my COO? Her name is Josette Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
She came from Meta, formerly known as Facebook, 13 years. And she walked away to become my COO. She saw it instantly. We did a call, and then we did a call on the app, and she told me straight up. She says, "Yeah, I'm going to be part of this. I'm going to walk away from my present job after 13 years," because she says, I was head of global legal for Facebook on a cross-functioning team to identify apps that they would buy or become partners with.
Mm-hmm.
She's worked with the engineering team at Facebook to build internal and external tools for them. When she
Right.
saw Modi, she was like, we would buy this. She said, we would buy this. So
Right.
I'm going to help you finish this. My law firm, Oric Harrington, who she introduced me to, only represent 3 to 4 of the biggest tech companies in the world. When they saw it right away, Mitchell, the CEO and founder of Oric, saw this, he goes, my God, this is an incredible tool.
Yeah, and there are people commenting on our stream saying that people need to experience MOTI in real time. It has better quality, camera quality than Zoom. And there was another comment. MOTI can literally be for everyone, and that's why it's so amazing.
And this is the thing, right? When you look at all these other apps, right? You look at Fiverr, right? You go to Fiverr, great app. I'm not saying nothing bad about it, but you're looking for particularly the coder, somebody to design a website. You know, when you look at Upwork, again, you're looking for somebody to do some work for you, whether that be assistance or create a website. You look at Wizen, another tool, great tool. They're just for tutoring. You're not going to put an influencer there or a telemedicine doctor there because it's a tutoring app. So in your mind, it's for teachers only.
Right.
But when you look at MOTI, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. MOTI's designed to be on all industries that do video to payment. It's not a niche for one thing. We
Well,
didn't
because
design it just to do
people
one
aren't
thing.
one-dimensional, right? People aren't one-dimensional. I have this conversation all the time. You know, they're like, well, I'm marketing just to this person. I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? That person buys cars, toilet paper, houses, okay, and all of the, so you're going to have a little thing for every, no, there's one person represents 50 different opportunities because
Correct.
it's multifaceted. They're not one-dimensional. That's
And
why one of the reasons why MOTI is, I think, going to be extremely successful, because you won't have to keep jumping out when you're looking for something else. I want something repaired in my house or whatever it is. I want to talk to an expert, or I want a doctor's opinion or whatever it is. You know that you can find that on that platform.
you know, also another thing that makes MOTI exciting, when you look at Meta, right? You think of the founder. When you look at Amazon, you think of Bezos. You think MOTI won't have that effect. MOTI's so robust in so many different industries. It doesn't need me to carry it.
Right.
But Hugo's not the reason you download MOTI. You download MOTI because it's a great product and it fits in our industry. MOTI will run great now because my founders, Jeff and Kevin and Joey, knew what they were doing. They standalone product that it doesn't need Hugo to sell it. Once people know about it, it's going to make sense to them. And a lot of products, if the founder is not, you know, Jeff Bezos or Mike Zuckerberg or you know, whoever that is, that product doesn't function because it's led by, you know, if you know, but MOTI stands alone. Doesn't need Hugo. I'm the great messiah for MOTI. Yes, I am the biggest messiah for MOTI. But MOTI stands alone.
Right.
It is a product. And you don't have to worry about going on there and say, but Hugo says only for, no. If you are doing video and you need to get paid and you want your messaging to be private and you want to be able to do financial transactions and messaging or in the call, MOTI allows that. If you don't want your recording to be on a cloud, MOTI allows that. If you don't want our logo on your video, we don't have it. So don't worry. Put your logo.
But
You
your
pay us
logo.
for a service. You don't pay us to be all over your page.
Right.
You know?
That's
That's what
great.
MOTI's great.
And that's great. So we're running out of time, and I want to ask you this question. You built not just one business, many, right? And scaled many businesses. Oh, what's one lesson that you wish you'd learned earlier as an entrepreneur?
I think my biggest lesson was MOTI. I learned my biggest lesson on MOTI. I'll tell you why.
Oh, really? Okay.
When I was in construction, there's no percentages of VCs or there's an investing company. They come in, they buy the building, and then you get to bid for the contract and you're in. The best bid wins, right? But here's the problem with building technologies. I'm a Hispanic male. Hispanics have a 2% chance of raising money through a VC company. That's the challenge. And then the other industry that I had level ground.
Right.
Being the CEO of MOTI, I don't have level ground. As a Hispanic VC, I have a 2% chance of raising with them. So I have to be more creative with crowdfunding, private investors. But I did not know that. I didn't know being Hispanic is a barrier to getting funded. That was interesting to me. So that has been my biggest learn in real time.
That's a huge lesson, and something that people have to realize. It's something to be dealt with, but it's not a barrier. And I think there's two different ways to look at that, because you said, okay, now I learned that. Now I'm going to be doing the things that I need to do in order to go around it, work through it, whatever it is, as opposed to saying, oh, well, I just
Oh,
can't do it now.
I would never. And look, I say it to say this, and this is where it gets tricky. Imagine me being the best athlete in the world, and I go to a doctor for a simple surgery, and he tells me my chance of survival 2% because I'm Hispanic. Would you get the surgery? No, you wouldn't. But
No,
I decided to go under the knife anyway because I believe there's other ways to navigate through this.
there is other ways. Sure.
The VCs don't hold that. Maybe 10 years ago, the VCs were the only place, but there's other avenues now. And you just have to be creative, figure those avenues out, and then start raising that way.
Right.
And then when they're ready to see you, you don't have to see them anymore because they didn't open the door for you, and that's fine. But I will say for an Hispanic, understand that your chances of raising capital is 2%. If you go into tech, don't get discouraged, but be aware that you may have to do other steps to get funded, whether that's crowdfunding, private people. The money's out there,
Yeah, it
but
is.
you may, before going to a VC and have to bend the knee and let them crush you, don't do it. There are other ways to do it. Just learn to navigate and be aware that your percentage is 2%. So unless you're a rock star that you can light yourself on fire, it's 2%. So good luck with it, and I wish them the best. But please learn there are other avenues and get acquainted to learning them, so you don't feel trapped
And
and
guess what?
frustrated.
Guess what, Hugo? They can go on MOTI and have a conversation with you, and you can give them even more detail about that, right?
Absolutely, and I don't charge, and I don't charge for the call. You get free calls from me if you're trying to navigate through something that you don't understand. And I would tell people if you want to get funded, one of the best platforms to go right now is go fund yourself. I just shot the studio,
Mhm.
and they have all types of we funding companies outside. You know,
Mhm.
compressed capital. They have tons of capital companies outside the
Right.
studio that are watching and looking for things they want to raise money for. So if you really want to fund and you have a great product and you're ready to put it out, go fund yourself.
Mhm.
Go register. It's 5 lines. You don't
Mhm.
have to be pre-revenue.
Mhm.
That you fly down to LA, you shoot the show, you got content, you make people brand, it gives you brand awareness.
Sure.
You meet 5 titans, and I've already gotten 3 emails from 3 of them that want to sit down with me to figure this out funding. So there is a way to get funded. Just go fund yourself. Go know that you could do it yourself. It's not necessarily VCs anymore.
That's
Yeah,
great.
there is always a way if you are excited and you have a dream and you want to do it, you have a goal, there is always a way.
Correct. There always is. Just know that the VCs and the engine investors are not your only option. They used to be, but they no longer are. You don't have to go to them and feel like you have to beg them. Don't do that. Don't do that. There are people that will believe in you. And you could. There's the thing. There's a lot of people don't know. You could go with a small guy that has a little bit of money, maybe just 100K, and tell him to set up an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, and he could bring 20 people in that 20 grand, and now that guy raised for you $400,000, and it's on the one cap table. You keep your cap table clean.
Yep.
There are ways to raise money. Just ask questions. Don't think you have to go sit in a room and get humiliated or feel like that's the only person that's going to help you. It is not true anymore.
Yeah.
That is not true.
That is the most valuable lesson that I think any entrepreneur, young or old, new or old, doesn't matter. That's incredibly valuable because we keep
And
moving
and
on.
one more thing that my mentor told me, David Metzer, if you're 1,000 no's for the one yes you need, how quick would you be trying to get those no's?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
don't worry, there might be 1,000 no's, but you only need one yes,
Yeah.
and then you're off to the races.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure that we push this on all of our platforms,
Mhm.
Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and we want people to hear this and get inspired. And of course, use MOTI to call you or to schedule a call with you or schedule calls with their customers, clients, so they can get paid instantly. That was very valuable. Thank you so much for your time. I know you have such a busy schedule, so I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
No, and I thank you guys because it's platforms like this that allow founders to get their voice out. If we don't have guys like you that are willing to take the time and interview us, we get stuck
Mhm.
because some podcasters don't want to podcast until you're famous,
Well,
which doesn't make no sense to me.
I appreciate you saying that, Hugo.
It's
'Cause
true. If it wasn't for platforms like you guys that say, "Hey, let's get your product out. Let's get you out there," we won't get out there.
You're right. Well, this was awesome, my brother. I cannot thank you enough. We're going to see each other very soon. So we have a dinner that we got to get together. So we're going to do that offline. We'll
I'll
get
be
that.
back in New York tomorrow. So
Okay,
anything
great.
after tomorrow, we're off to the races to dinner.
Yep, I'll send you some dates.
All right. Thank you, my
Okay.
brother. I appreciate you. Thank you,
All
D.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.